When complex questions arise, algorithms can only do so much in answering those questions. Now, they do a great job of answering simple questions right now, like, I'm 25 years old, what should I invest in? Yeah, a robot can do that without the need of a human. But let's say you're older and you have a very complex estate tax question. The robo-advisor may not provide the best answer for you. Hello there, and welcome to another episode of the Wealth Wise Women podcast. My name is Wes Caprill, and in today's episode, I want to talk about the role of technology in the financial advising industry, specifically the role that robo-advisors have come to play in financial advice. Now, as I was doing my research for this topic, it got me thinking a little bit about the Matrix movies. It's hard to believe the first Matrix movie came out in 1999, 25 years ago. It was certainly prophetic, though, in its nature, at least in how it predicted that technology was going to play more and more of a role in our lives. And the separation between human and machine was going to become less and less over time. It's certainly at the forefront again in the increase of AI and its usage in basically every facet of life. But more specifically, when it comes to financial advising, robo-advisors have really been a hot topic as of late. Now, for those of you who don't know what robo-advisors are, they are online platforms that use algorithms and other technology to provide automated advice to customers. They came onto the scene about 10 years ago. Startups like Betterment and Wealthfront created their own platforms. And because of the traction that they were gaining, some of the legacy companies like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs also created robo-advisors to compete. And I really do understand their appeal when they first came onto the market. Robo-advisors were combining very, very low costs with automated management of a diverse set of investments. And this combination had many experts thinking that robo-advisors were going to shake up the entire financial advising industry. They're going to completely disrupt the landscape and change financial advice the way that e-commerce had changed retail. I mean, seriously, these robo-advisors are making things so much easier for the average investor, and they were increasing the efficiency of investing. A term that was thrown around often was these robo-advisors were increasing the democratization of investing, meaning that they were making things accessible to the average Joe, not just the complex hedge funds and other large institutional investors out there. Though it is ironic, another robo-advisor that was very popular in past years, Robinhood, started out being one of the champions of investing democracy. But during the GameStop fiasco of 2020 and 2021, they certainly drew the fury of their customers because they stopped the trading of GameStop on their platform. So much for the democratization of investing. But I digress. I'll address that in another episode at some point. But interestingly, the shakeup that many people predicted robo-advisors were going to bring to the financial advising industry didn't happen. In fact, some robo-advisors have completely disappeared. Many of the legacy companies have exited the industry altogether. Many other robo-advisors have added a human hybrid approach to their offering. Like Betterment, you can meet with a human advisor as part of their services. And I want to walk through some of the limitations that robo-advisors have. And it's these limitations that I feel are a lot of the reason why not only did robo-advisors not shake up the financial advising industry, they speak to the fact that I think human financial advisors are here to stay. I know that sounds self-serving, but I truly do mean it. The first limitation that robo-advisors have is the fact that they lack a human touch. When complex questions arise, algorithms can only do so much in answering those questions. Now, they do a great job of answering simple questions right now, like, I'm 25 years old, what should I invest in? Yeah, A robot can do that without the need of a human. But let's say you're older and you have a very complex estate tax question. The robo-advisor may not provide the best answer for you. And it certainly doesn't provide a sounding board to discuss the pros and cons of various decisions. I think a lot of what an advisor provides is the ability to go back and forth to weigh the pros and cons and decide the best option for you in your situation. And then also, these robo-advisors don't really enable you to tailor your individual goals as much. You might be able to select from a few buckets of goals. They might put you through a questionnaire that has you answering some questions. But ultimately, when you meet with a human, you're able to create a customized financial strategy that is specific to you in particular. On top of that, robo-advisors lack personalization. Especially when it comes to women, I've addressed this in a past episode. You have specific needs that are different from men, and we can't just lump everybody together in a one-size-fits-all approach. We need to tailor things, especially the fact that you live longer and you have higher healthcare costs. Robo-advisors may not be able to acknowledge the differences that women have. Only a human can do so. So that's another limitation, is the lack of personalization. But the third limitation that robo-advisors have, I think, is the most important, and a lot of the reason why companies either exited or they added a hybrid approach. And that is, only humans can provide truly holistic financial planning. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, your robo-advisors are going to focus a lot on portfolio management. They'll say, okay, here's all the different investments that you're in, or here's what you should be invested in based on your risk tolerance and your overall objectives. But retirement planning, as many of you know, is a lot more than that. And we need to take a look at estate planning. We need to take a look at tax optimization, Social Security. There's a whole complex list of things that go into properly planning for retirement. There is considering pros and cons of various decisions. I mean, it is a very complex discussion. And I don't just meet with clients once and say, okay, that's it. No. It's an ongoing relationship. And things change over time. And this is where the limitations of robo-advisors is very evident, because they aren't able to have that complex back and forth with clients that the client needs, if you will. And again, this is why these robo companies have added the hybrid approach to their offerings. They realize the limitations in their own platforms, and they said, okay, we concede. We need to bring human beings in to supplement what we offer. The fourth limitation is the lack of behavioral coaching. I've discussed this in past episodes. A lot of what I do is coaching our clients, especially when it comes to managing their emotions when investing. It's great when the market goes up, but it's not always going to go up. There's going to be turbulent periods. And a lot of what I do is coaching people through these turbulent periods to ensure that they stay committed to the plan that we've created for them. A robo-advisor isn't necessarily able to have that coaching session, if you will. It's only going to listen to the inputs of the client. It isn't necessarily going to have a conversation with them. So they can't provide reassurance or the accountability that a human being can. Now, none of this is to say that robo-advisors don't ever work. I think that they are a very valuable tool, and it's great that they have entered the financial advising market, but I don't think they are an end-all, be-all tool. I don't think that they are going to ultimately replace the role that human financial advisors do play in the industry. For somebody who's young, maybe just out of college and wants to get started in investing, robo-advisors are great. They really simplify the process. You can learn a lot from them, and it's very easy. Someone who's young doesn't necessarily need to meet with an advisor. But the older you get and the more complex your financial needs become, it is necessary, I think, to meet with somebody to really cut through all of the weeds and all of the complexity and create for you a comprehensive financial plan that is tailored to you in your specific situation. Again, investing is emotional, and only human beings are capable of acknowledging emotion. Now, again, we may not be the best at managing our emotions, but when we work together as a team, we can really keep emotions at bay and execute a financial plan that keeps us healthy in the long run. Again, it comes down to answering the question, will I be okay, with an emphatic yes. So, robo-advisors are good, but they aren't, I think, in my opinion, the only tool that you should use. Now, if you ever want to talk about this, we are always open to meeting and discussing how we might be able to help, especially if you have a robo-advisor, but you have more complex questions. I'd love to sit down and discuss how we might be able to supplement the role that your robo-advisor is playing in your life. Let's sit down and discuss a strategy that we might be able to create for you. I encourage you to evaluate your own personal financial situation and then say, okay, where are the gaps? Whatever gaps there might be, that's where a human financial advisor can certainly play a role. So if you'd ever like to meet with us, discuss how we might be able to help you achieve your financial goals, simply go to visitwithmc.com and book a no obligation consultation. Or if you have questions or would like to just touch base about anything, I'd love to have a brief conversation with you. That being said, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.